Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to FSDH Capital's Q2 quarterly webinar themed The Investor's Guide to Dividend, Reinvestment, and Portfolio Optimization. My name is Ayoluwa Akinyemi, and I'll be your host for today's session. Thank you for taking the time to join us. We are really excited and glad to have you with us today. Can we have everyone tell us where they're joining us from in the chat? I can see Elijah joining us from Lagos. Welcome, Elijah. Welcome. And if you're just joining us, welcome. Don't forget to tell a friend of a friend of a friend to tune into this session as it promises to be packed with valuable information as to how we can optimize our portfolios. As they say, investing is a marathon and not a sprint. And dividends plays a very vital role in that journey. For some investors, investing dividend can be a source of income, while for others, reinvesting these dividends can be a smart way to build wealth over time. So whether you are a seasoned investor looking to optimize your portfolio, or you are just beginning your investment journey, today's session is the right tool you need. Today's session is the right tool you need just for you to make your investments the most of your investment decisions. I would just like to go over a few housekeeping notes. Please note that all participants are to remain mute throughout the session. However, if you have any questions at all, you can drop them in the question and answer box, and we'll take time out to answer your questions at the end of today's session. Okay. Well, I'm just seeing some people joining in. Welcome. If you're just joining in. Oh, in came from PH. Welcome. Nii from Lagos. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So without wasting much of our time, we're going to be moving on. I'm going to be introducing our first speaker of the day. Our first speaker of the day is a senior operations officer and a seasoned finance professional with over 4 years of experience in equity trading and the Nigerian capital market. He is known for his analytical expertise and commitment to delivering values. He will be taking us through dividend investing and helping us better our dividend for investors. The value they can offer within a portfolio, and most importantly, how to create wealth over time. Please allow me to welcome Dolanimi Aderibibi.
Once again, welcome everyone, and thank you very much. Hope we are all having a beautiful afternoon. It's my pleasure to take you on this topic on dividends. It's at the end of this, I hope I'll be able to enlighten you and educate you and let you know more about the dividends in the Nigerian capital market. So once again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So dividends. When people hear the word dividend, some imagine it's some complicated stock market language. But really, dividends are one of the sweetest notifications you can receive. Not because your uncle or your auntie sent you money, but because a company you invested in decided to reward you for being a shareholder. And honestly, who doesn't like seeing money enter their account without having to chase anybody? So today we'll talk about what dividends are, how they work, and why they sometimes disappear into thin air. And most importantly, how to make sure your own money actually gets to you. So what exactly is a dividend? Let's start with the basics. Imagine you and a few friends own a restaurant. Business is good, customers are happy, and at the end of the year, you make profits. Now, after paying expenses, you decide to share part of those profits amongst yourselves. That's essentially what dividends are. A dividend is simply a company saying, thank you for believing in us. Here's your share of the profits. And contrary to what many people think, dividends don't just appear magically. They are first declared by the board of directors of the company and then approved before they are paid out. They may come as cash, which most people prefer because, we are Nigerians, we all love alerts. or sometimes as additional shares known as bonus issues. And for example, during the time when GTC was paying dividend, it was trending all over socials because it was quite the topic. And if you owned 10,000 shares of GTCO and they declared 11 naira 76 kobo per share, you'd receive over 100,000 naira after tax. We will discuss more about the tax aspect going deeper into the session. So, that's not bad for actually simply owning shares, allowing your company to work while you sleep. So, why do company pay dividends? Now, companies don't pay dividends because they are feeling generous. There are three major reasons. First, dividends signal financial strength. It's like a company saying, we're making real money here, and we are confident enough to share some of it. Second, like being a faithful customer to that favorite restaurant, and they're getting complimentary desserts, except in this case, that dessert is money. And third, dividends attract investors. There are people who don't necessarily want excitement or drama in the markets. They simply want steady income. Dividend helps to attract such investors. Now, we're moving on to the types of dividends. There are different ways companies reward shareholders, but the most common that we receive is cash dividend. This is everyone's favorite because money enters your account at once and suddenly life becomes more interesting. So then we have the bonus issues. Instead of cash, the company gives you additional shares. It's like saying, we don't want to give you fish today. We'll give you more fishing nets. And some companies combine both. You receive cash now and additional shares for future growth. It's like, maybe getting jollof rice and takeaway at the same time. Everybody wins regardless. And these are the ways dividends are paid. Now, important dividend dates. This is where many investors miss out. You can own the right stock and still not receive the dividend simply because of timing. There are 4 days to remember, and I want you all to please pay attention so that you don't miss out on opportunities like this. And when everyone is talking about GTCO paid and you're missing out, these may be the reasons why. You can own the right stock and still not receive dividend simply because of time, like I said. Now, first of the days to remember is the declaration date. This is when the company announces the dividend. Then comes the qualification date. This is the most important one. If you own the shares before the date, congratulations, you qualify. Buy after that date, and unfortunately, you'll be watching others collect dividends while you say, if only I bought earlier. And nobody wants to be saying that. So after that comes the closure date. That's when the register is finalized. Then finally the payment date, the beautiful day when bank alerts are flying around and you are basically part of what people are enjoying. So the key lesson here is don't wait until the last minute because in investing, timing actually matters. How does dividend payment actually reach you? You see, the thing is, many people think dividends move directly from the company to their account. Not quite. There's a whole team behind the scenes, and the company sends the money to the registrar. The registrar then checks the shareholders' records. The CSCS will then validate the holdings, and then the NIBS will help to route the funds. Then finally, your bank credits your account, and then hopefully you smile. But there's one very important thing here, your e-dividend mandates. Think of it as giving the system your correct delivery address. You understand? If your BVN and bank details are not properly registered, your dividend may not reach you, and you are wondering where your money is. And nobody likes money wandering around looking for its owner, because when it's just sitting there, you just want it off you. Now we move on to the tax implications. I had mentioned earlier about the tax. For most experiences, there are people who, just do the raw calculations. They say they have 10,000 units of shares and the company is paying out, say, 11 naira 76 kobo. So what they have roughly in their head is, I'm meant to receive 117 naira 600, 117,600 naira. And then when the money comes and it's lesser than that, you are thinking, they've stolen my money. What's going on? This and that. That's not usually the case because the government has to come and say, please don't forget me. So as it stands, there's a 10% withholding tax deducted at source. So like I mentioned, if your gross dividend is 117,600 naira, that 10% will be deducted. And what you would actually receive is just over 105,000 naira. The good news is that you don't have to calculate or pay it separately. It's automatically handled before the money reaches you. So that alert you receive for dividend is already the net amount. Now, unclaimed dividends. The next part always surprises people. There are hundreds of billions of naira in unclaimed dividends in Nigeria. Imagine having money somewhere and not knowing it. That's like buying sphere and forgetting where you kept it. Unclaimed dividends happen because of different reasons. And as it is, the estimated value of unclaimed dividends held across Nigerian companies is over 242 billion naira. Yes, you heard me correctly. Over 242, not million, but billion naira. And your money may be part of that. But there are reasons why dividends can go unclaimed. It could be incorrect bank details, name mismatches, missing e-dividend mandates, inherited shares that were never transferred properly, or wrong information. And the funny thing is, some people are searching for opportunities while opportunities are already searching for them. The good news is that these funds can be recovered, right? Through the SEC portal, the NIPS platform, registrars, or through your stockbroker, FSDH Capital. What we will do here is we'll come in and help you with that service. So you can head on to the website for the SEC Unclaimed Dividend Portal, as it's showing on the screen at www.secgovernment.ng. And then you head to the NIPS EDMS portal, www.nipsplc.com.mg, where you log in with your BVN to see your unclaimed dividends and link to your bank account. Then the company registrars, you have to contact this company registrars directly. And after that, FSDH Capital will be willing and will want to definitely help you to recover this dividend. Now, the feeling is, so after today's webinar, one assignment I encourage everyone to do is check whether there's money with your name on it somewhere. You might just discover a pleasant surprise, really. So register and recover your dividends. Thankfully, recovering dividends is not rocket science. Just visit the portals like I had mentioned. Then ensure your e-dividend mandate is properly registered through the NIPS and your BVN, like I had earlier mentioned. And trust me, this is the kind of reunion everyone likes. Now, here are the common issues affecting dividend payments. Finally, let's talk about this. The first one is missing e-dividend mandates. No accounts linkage means no electronic payments. Back then, dividends were actually paid by checks, but I mean, now we're in the digital age, it's 2026. We need things to be easier, simpler, and more direct. So if you're having incorrect information, you would most likely be affected by this. And the second reason is incorrect CSCS information. Your records must match. The number three is the change of bank account. Many people switch bank accounts but forget to update their dividend details. You may have issues with your Access Bank. Maybe you're trying to transfer money to pay for something at a restaurant and you don't want to wash plate or something, but Access Bank is messing you up. And then you go ahead and say, you know what, I'm done with Access. This is the third, fourth time, and I'm closing the bank accounts. But don't forget, that's what you submitted online to NIBS on the to receive your dividends. And when it's time for dividend payment dates, because of your beef with Access Bank, you are now going to be left unpaid because your bank account is still registered with them. So the fourth one is inherited shares. Probate and documents may be required before dividends can be paid, and this is usually a common issue to be fair. And then I had mentioned this earlier, dividends, and then they wonder why nothing came in. Unfortunately, dividend does not work by vibes. The timing matters, like I basically mentioned way earlier. The timing always matters. You need to time to ensure that you receive your dividends into your account. So, ladies and gentlemen, dividends are not just about receiving cash once a year. They are part of a broader strategy for building wealth and creating additional streams of income. And we at FSDH Capital always here to help whenever you want to reclaim your dividends on your money. Over to you, Ayo.
Okay, wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Dolanimi Aderbigbe, for that insightful and engaging presentation. I'm really sure our audience had some very practical takeaways from that session, especially about how reinvesting dividend can support our long-term portfolio growth. I mean, I was listening and thinking, let me go and check if I have something sitting somewhere with my name on it. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, moving on to the next segment of the day, I'll be introducing our second speaker to us. Okay, it is now my pleasure to introduce you Praise Shubuloye, CFA, ACA. Praise is an accomplished finance professional with expertise in investment banking, corporate finance, and capital markets. As a CFA chartered holder and associate chartered accountant, she brings a strong blend of technical knowledge, professional excellence, and practical expertise. He currently works within the investment banking space of FSDH Capital, where he is involved in transaction financial advisory initiatives. Today, he will be taking us through optimizing dividend returns and sharing practical insights on how investors like you and me can maximize dividend opportunities as part of a stronger investment strategy. Please allow me to introduce to you Praise Shubuloye. Praise, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much, Ayolua. Well appreciated. Thank you for everyone on the call, and I hope you're already learning one or two things as regards your dividends, how to claim your dividends, how to ensure that you receive that dividends that you've been waiting for, right? So yeah, in this section, what we're about to discuss is a way to make more money, right? So one of the things we've always wanted to do, or why you're on this call, is because you're interested in money. Dividends is basically money, right? And now we're about to discuss how we can make money with the money we've already received, which is dividends, right? As discussed earlier by the last speaker, we learned about the tax effect, which led to us receiving net dividends because withholding taxes are already deducted from our gross dividends. So that net dividend, let's assume that you received it. Now, I understand that you would mention that you have bills to pay and things to sort out. But what if you don't have those urgent things to sort out? How can you use this money to make more money for yourself? What you can do is, let's paint a picture where you've invested in GT Co and you receive dividends of about 105,000, right? Now, you can either reinvest in GTCO or you diversify to another stock. Now, why do you invest in GTCO? Because stocks, dividends rather, are paid on the number of units you own, right? So if you own more dividends, if you own more shares, then when the company declares dividends, you tend to have more dividends, right? Because you have more shares. So once you receive your dividends, rather than spend it, if you don't really have anything to do with it, you could reinvest that stock, that amount of money into that stock, like GTCO, because you've taken a risk on that business before, on that company before, and you're comfortable with that company, and you believe that the management of that company is able to drive growth, then why not? You can still reinvest in them. Hopefully, they would also pay dividends the next season of dividend payment. Also, you can diversify, right? You don't want to leave all your eggs in one basket. You want to diversify to make sure you get more dividends from other companies, right? Like, for instance, this year, we know of Dangote Cement, who has also paid dividends in 2 digits, right, to shareholders. So you might also want to look into that to get dividends from them. So you can diversify or you can reinvest that dividend to that particular stock you just got the dividends from, or rather to a different stock that you believe would drive growth. Now, talking about a different stock that you believe will drive growth, we're going to paint a picture right on this slide. What we're trying to paint here is using a single amount of initial capital to make money or to get dividends from different companies, right? It's a strategy where you use just one amount of money. Let's assume you have 1 million naira. You use that 1 million naira to make dividends or to get dividends from company A. Use that same 1 million to get dividends from company B. Use that same 1 million to get dividends from company C, right? So how does this work? Let's walk through this together so you can flow with me. I will be starting from the top row, which is where GTCO is. So imagine today you bought GTCO at 1 million naira, and then that's before the qualification date. You add a price increase because everybody is most likely trying to run through the strategy. You see a price increase because of the earnings surprise, also in terms of the dividends that have been declared by the company. You get the capital gains of, let's say, 20%. Your portfolio moves by about 200,000. Now, the sad thing is the day after the qualification date, there's something called an ex-due date or a markdown date. So that day is the date when the amount of dividends that is being paid is deducted from the share price. So you see an automatic drop in the share price that matches that dividend that is paid, right? So we'll have to shed off that gains, the gains you already made. You share that off and you see a drop in price. So the drop in price, we are assuming that is about, we've calculated that to be about roughly 93,000, right? So this needs you net position to about 1.1 million, right? Remember you started with 1 million. Now you're 1.1 million without even the dividends itself, right? The dividends have not hit your bank account yet, but you know you're waiting for the dividends. It's coming to you in a few weeks' time, right? So you take that 1.1 million you have today, that when you sell GTCO, you take it to Zenith, right? Buy Zenith stock, you wait, get a price increase, a capital gain of let's say 10%, maximum of about 10%, and then the ex-div date also comes in, you see a price reduction, you move now to what 1.19 thereabout million. You repeat the same cycle for maybe Boa Foods or maybe Dangote Cement. Again, it's about the strategy is about watching the market, following the news to know when a company declares dividend, right? So you're waiting for the first company to, for the qualification date, you're locked in for the qualification date of the first company, and then you pull out the day after, right? After you've qualified, you take that same money to another company to go and qualify for that dividend. Once you've qualified, the day after, you take the money again to go and qualify for another dividend. So you're basically just using the same amount of money to qualify for several dividends, right? So you're basically buying and selling stocks to lock in for those dividends. Now, what would that come to? If you look at the rows below, we have a starting capital of what? Of 1 million naira. And then we have the capital gains you make of about 425,000 thereabout. Your capital position increases to what? About 1.185. And the dividends that you would receive to your bank account will be what? 135,000, right? Which comes later, right? Now, the combined portfolio, remember we said at 1 million. Your combined portfolio now moves to about what? 1.3 million. So what this strategy helps you to do is you're gaining two ways. You're gaining from the capital gain side of things, and then you're gaining from what? From the dividend income side of things. Not just one company's dividend declared that you're earning. You're earning from multiple companies with the same amount of money invested. So with these two strategies, you're better positioned from a dividend perspective on capturing more returns for yourself rather than what you've been doing in the past. And if you're wondering, how do I keep up with this information? How do I know when the company is declaring dividend? How do I know when they receive dividends and or they're paying dividends or when the qualification date is? That's why we are here. We would always be informing you as soon as dividends have been declared, the payment dates, the qualification dates, and every other details that you need about those stocks, right? And as soon as you do that, we would be happy to see you play with this strategy in the next dividend cycle so that you can also enjoy in this fat growth. So that's it. I'll leave the floor to the host now, Ayolua Akinyemi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Praise, for that enlightening and insightful practical and presentation. I'm sure our audience found that session incredibly valuable, especially the insights shared on how investors can optimize dividend and make the most of dividend opportunities within their portfolio. Thank you once again for that presentation. Okay, now we'll move on to the next part of today's session. I am pleased to introduce to you Elijah Ododo, who will be sharing with us an overview of FSDH Capital's product offerings, value propositions, and how our expertise solutions and support are designed to help you investors achieve your financial goals. Elijah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ayo. And thank you, Jalanimi and Praise, for the very illuminating session that we've had so far. We've discussed what dividends are and why they matter. The natural next step is understanding how investors can access suitable investment opportunities and build wealth consistently over time. That is where we at FSDH Capital Limited come in. FSDH Capital is a member of the FSDH Group, a subsidiary of FSDH Holding Company Limited. We provide investment banking, debt solutions, and securities trading services. The company is licensed as a broker-dealer, issuing house by the Securities and Exchange Commission and a dealing member of the Nigerian Exchange Limited and the FMDQ Securities Exchange Limited. The next slide would show to us a host of services that we render to our clients. At FSDH Capital, we provide a broad range of investment banking and stockbroking services designed to meet the needs of both individual and institutional investors. On the investment banking side, we help businesses, we help governments, we help corporates raise capital through instruments such as IPOs. IPOs are initial public offerings, rights issues, bonds, commercial papers, and sukuk. We also provide financial advisory services, supporting clients on transactions, mergers, acquisitions, divestments, corporate restructuring, and other strategic initiatives. In addition, on the debt side, in the investment banking team, we assist clients with structuring financing arrangement and developing sustainable funding solutions for growth and expansion. And then over to the stockbroking arm, here as well, we work with individuals, we work with institutionals, helping them, make money and being a trusted partner on their wealth creation journey. Through our equities trading platform, clients can trade, that is, buy and sell shares that are listed on the NGX, which is a Nigerian exchange. We also provide market making services, which help supports liquidity in the market, as well as margin lending solutions for eligible investors who wish to take advantage of investment opportunities that may come in the market without immediately liquidating their existing holdings. To add a bit of color to margin lending allows eligible investors to access short-term financing using their investment portfolio as collateral, enabling those investors to take advantage of any investment opportunities that may spring up, because in this market there are always opportunities, enabling you to take advantage of such opportunities without immediately having to liquidate your existing asset. And on the fixed income side, for investors seeking more predictable income streams, we facilitate trading in government, subnational, and corporate fixed income securities, also supporting market liquidity through market making activities in the fixed income market. Now, we've spoken about equities. We've also spoken about fixed income trading. Beyond the execution of those, we provide research and investor support in market insights, CSCS accounting related support. We just want our investors make more informed. Are never a matrix. We are in your journey to wealth creation over time. So if you are not already onboarded on one of our platforms, I hope that soonest you will be, so that you can also take part of this juicy pie and smile to the bank. Thank you very much for listening to me and my colleagues. I will now yield the floor to our host to take us further. Ayo, please.
All right. Thank you, Elijah, for that practical and insightful overview of FSDH Capital as a whole and our product offerings and the value that we strive to deliver to our clients. We really appreciate all of these insights and the opportunity to learn more about FSDH Capital supports, how FSDH Capital supports our investors on their financial journey. So yeah, with that being said, as FSDH Capital, we look forward to continuing to working with our existing clients, helping them and supporting them through their future investment journeys, decisions, and long-term financial goals. And to those who may be joining us for the first time and are considering partnering with FSDH Capital, we also look forward to supporting you as well and being a part of your investment journey. Wow. It's been a really engaging discussion, and I'm sure many of us have a lot of questions for our speakers. So now we are moving on to the question and answer segment of today's webinar. I can see that some of us have dropped our questions in the question and answer box. If you have questions as well, you can please drop it in our question and answer box. Okay, so I'll be taking a question now from Kazim. Kazim Kolosho is asking, he went onto the NIPS online portal and he's saying there wasn't anything on dividends on it. So I think you're trying to ask how you can navigate your way through that. So Adebimpe, would you like to answer that? How can we help Kazim navigate his way through the NIPS portal?
Yes, so that will if the slide that I shared earlier, there were some screenshots of the details that are needed, and well, what you need to do is most of the information that are there, you need to have them readily available, because this is what will help the portal to assist you in what exactly it is you're looking for. So take, for example, you need, like I mentioned, you need your BVN, your account details, your names, and so on. So once you have this information readily available, and you head to the portal, navigating the portal with this right information would streamline the search according to how you want it. However, you can also still reach out to us and we'll help you further in locating or trying to claim your dividends.
All right. Thank you so much, Jolani. I hope that has been able to answer your question. and give you clear information as to how you can navigate your way through the NIPS portal. Okay, we'll take our second question. Larry is asking, are broker commissions and statutory charges included in these calculations? Okay, so I'm going to leave that to Praise to answer for us. Praise, do you want to answer? Are broker commissions and statutory charges included in these calculations?
So the answer is we haven't calculated the cost of trading in it. So it's a bit off of all trading costs. But realistically, we know that that is quite minor in terms of the returns you could possibly get. So that's why we haven't looked at that for that purpose, because of how minor it is the to how minor it is in terms of the returns you're going to possibly get, right? Your brokerage commissions with max will be a maximum of about 2%. So, and the returns we got was about 30 something percent in terms of ROI. So the way the competition has gone did not really factor in the trading costs because of that effect. I hope this is clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Praise, for answering that for us. Thank you. All right, so do we have anything to say? If you would like to say something, can you signify by raising hands? Let's raise our hands if we have anything to say. Or you have a question that around this webinar and this presentation that you couldn't get across to us. You can raise your hand. So, okay, Muri is raising his hand. So Muri is asking, what are the most common mistakes retail investors like us can make when reinvesting their returns? Okay, so Dolanimi, do you want to answer that for us?
Well, for me, what I would say is one of the most common mistakes one can even make is not even reinvesting it at all, to be honest, because you can definitely, maximize your capital. But there are also some other mistakes. That's because you need to know what exactly it is you want to use your dividend or your returns for. And where else you are investing into. There's a lot of information out there. You can do your own research, and as we would always be there to advise you further. But if you are planning to, maximize your returns, when you get these returns, you have other investment options out there. We also have the FGN savings bonds, which is federal government savings bonds. You could do maybe some investors choose to invest in public offers that come out or rights issues or any other investment opportunities, really. But one of the smartest things to do is reinvesting your returns back into the market. Although it all depends on what suits you really. And I would just say for me, I believe the best way to always make use of your returns is by reinvesting into the market, because not only are you receiving the money, but you are giving yourself the opportunity to also get better value for your returns, because you could then get capital gain in the market, and if the next dividend payout comes in, you are also getting more on what you invested as well. So it's usually just the case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dolanimi, for answering that question. Okay, now I would like to introduce to you Adedoyin Allen, our Chief Growth Officer and our Head of Department, the Business Development Team of FSDH Capital, to give us the vote of thanks. Adedoyin.
Thank you so much, Hayolu, and thanks to the speaker. Good afternoon, clients, prospects, and capital market operators. It's our pleasure to have you join us this afternoon for this insightful webinar. I'm very positive you've been able to learn one or two things from this webinar, and I'm sure that you'll be able to put your dividend to better use going forward. On behalf of the FSDH Capital team, I would like to sincerely extend our gratitude to you again for joining, for creating time, and to our distinguished speakers, Elijah, Praise, Dolanimi. You did fantastically well. Well done. Ayolua, thanks for hosting the session. And we look forward to more insightful business relationship and engagement going forward. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Doreen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. We really hope that you found this session really insightful and informative. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you at our future FSDH Capital event. Please, if you have any questions, you can send us a mail at capitalcustomercare@fsdhgroup.com. And if you want to know more information, you can visit our website at www.fsdhcapital.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram at fsdh.capital, on LinkedIn at fsdhcapital, and on Twitter at fsdh_capital. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.